The keto diet is an eating style unlike most eating patterns in America. But before we go into what the keto diet is capable of, we must first understand carbohydrates, the dietary lifestyle of Americans, what the keto diet entails, how to start it, and what to do once you've started it. One of the three molecules the body is capable of using for energy. The others include fats and proteins. These two energy sources are key within the keto diet, considering carbohydrates are hardly in the equation. To get a basis for carbohydrates, we must first understand how carbohydrate levels in foods are quantified using the glycemic index scale. Foods that are high in carbohydrates will have a higher glycemic index number than foods that are lower in carbohydrates. Examples of those foods that have a high glycemic index number include white bread, which is at 100, and corn, which has a glycemic index of 78. Those two items cannot be eaten in a ketogenic diet. Conversely, foods with lower carbohydrate contents, such as peanuts and legumes, will have a lower glycemic index number and are acceptable for a ketogenic diet. Now, many chronic diseases, such as diabetes and obesity, arise from a poorly regulated relationship with carbohydrates. Overeating occurs quite often in foods that are high in carbohydrates. This leads to excessive energy being stored, such as in obesity, or the inability to efficiently use carbohydrates as an energy source in diabetes. Now, how can we address overeating of carbohydrates while also changing eating behaviors? Simple. The federal government has already done so through the dietary guidelines for Americans and is laid out as the following. Carbohydrates are to entail 55% of the daily caloric intake, fats 30% of the daily caloric intake, and the remaining 15% belongs to proteins. Now, with the dietary guidelines for Americans seeming like a great plan, how is it translating to the public health of America? Well, obesity prevalence, as depicted by the diagram, has been on an incremental increase over the past 20 years. Coincidentally, so too has type 2 diabetes over that same time period. Even with guidelines set forth by the federal government, prevention of chronic disease, such as obesity and diabetes, do not seem to translate to realistic public health goals. Across the board, it seems that Americans are falling within the constraints of the guidelines. Why then do we see such a grim picture for the health of America? It's simple. It's food choices. Carbohydrate food items that are readily available and designed to be overconsumed. With efforts to limit carbohydrate intake, one can reestablish their relationship with food. Through the keto diet, one can incorporate greater amounts of nutrient-dense whole foods. Now, what is the keto diet exactly? Well, the keto diet is an eating style in which carbohydrates are almost entirely restricted from the diet, with emphasis on limiting all carbohydrate intake to equal to or less than 50 grams, or about the equivalent of at least 3 slices of bread per day. The keto diet forces its user to adjust their eating behaviors. With so little carbohydrate, energy must come from other aspects of the diet. This is where the hallmark of the keto diet comes in: increased consumption of both proteins and fats to sustain daily energy needs. The keto diet goes against typical American guidelines and increases the demand for proteins and fats, with decreased demands for carbohydrates substantially. While following the keto diet, users will enlist their body into becoming resilient of the modern day food system, which is plagued with high calorie, high carbohydrate, energy dense foods. This diet pushes to consume nutrient-dense, wholesome foods. This is a switch of pace away from the norm seen in an American diet. Once carbohydrates, our typical fuel source for the body, is depleted, the body adjusts as if it were in a fasted or starved state. Once this occurs, the body switches from using carbohydrates as its main fuel source to using fats as the primary energy producer. This is known as being in ketosis. Ketosis allows our body to become an efficient fat-burning machine and begins breaking down stored fat cells. This is the basis for why, as you'll see later, the body is capable of handling copious amounts of fats within the diet. Diseases like type 2 diabetes and obesity stemming a lot from the food choices we make, along with the habits we establish, the keto diet is capable of addressing both issues in one. As a diet that is based on limiting one simple molecule, the keto diet has a wonderful ability to reduce the burden of these diseases have on everyday life. It was shown through a study in Slovenia that a 12-week keto intervention led to drastic relief in disease burden. In another study published by Duke University, it was shown that a 16-week keto diet intervention improved control of carbohydrate use and allowed users to reduce or even discontinue their diabetes medication. With large potential benefits, you may be asking, is there any dangers from the diet in terms of micronutrient deficiencies or increased organ strain? Restricting some fruits and vegetables, which are sources of vitamins and minerals, may hold negative consequences. These vitamins and minerals play crucial roles in maintaining energy, keeping hair, skin, and nails healthy, and also preventing disease. Specific vitamins, such as vitamin C and vitamin K, that are found in fruits and vegetables may be lacking in the keto diet. To make up for this, for the loss of the diet, a multivitamin can be taken in that place. A multivitamin is loaded with vitamins and minerals for cases like the keto diet, which has little vitamins and minerals from the diet itself. Now, the diet may put strain on the organs, namely the kidneys, responsible for filtering out waste from consumed foods and liquids. One waste product is the chemical nitrogen, something found in every single protein product we eat. Since the keto diet relies on lots of protein, it is crucial not to overconsume. Ideal protein intake is 0.85 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. This means that a 160-pound person would ideally eat 61.7 grams of protein per day. Since protein is increased in the keto diet, one would ideally eat 1.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Instead of that 61.7 grams for a 160-pound person, this would go up to 94.4 grams of protein. Eating more proteins means adding more nitrogen. More nitrogen in the system works the kidneys harder to filter it all out. With more proteins being eaten, monitoring that amount is crucial to the diet. As long as the constraints are being met, the keto diet will remain safe and effective. Now, when the ever-exciting time to choose how you want to tailor your keto diet to fit you, keep some of these dishes in mind as a reference moving forward. For breakfast, a staple within the keto diet is starting every day with eggs. They are a great source of both protein and fats, while having little to no carbohydrates. This broccoli sausage frittata follows what keto entails: very high fat content, moderate protein, and low carbohydrate content. Now, on to the first big meal of the day. Lunch provides necessary midday energy. This turkey burger with buttered tomato sauce and fried cabbage is a twist on fast food. Instead of a grease strip burger, the turkey burger is a more lean option. The use of fats through dairy products rather than processed oils is also a more healthful option. Now, with dinner being the last and most frequented meal, it should leave you well satisfied. This Middle Eastern chicken dish fits perfectly within keto constraints. With such a low carbohydrate content, this meal is a wonderful twist on such a popular protein product. And finally, to make it through a midday lull of energy, snacks are an important part of the keto diet. With many snack products being processed, carbohydrate-based foods, snacks can be a challenge for the diet. However, this is when creativity comes into play and can become a fun aspect of the diet. Deviled eggs are a quick and easy fix for an on-the-go snack or even to enjoy at home.